we talk a lot about self-esteem here, and I saw this and the discourse around it, and it blew up so much, and I wanted to talk about it. So this is a little bit heartbreaking. Can we be sincere for a moment? So this post from r/men's fashion. How come I never look right? How sad is that? I know this seems trivial, but this post has 23.5 million views. So, you know, how sad is that? And then you've got this fellow right here, who admittedly not currently drippy, I'll admit. So this is a very sad post, okay? Now, I don't use any, like, fashion subreddits. I don't think they're necessarily a bad resource, I just don't. I went over to Men's Fashion to see if this was a real post, and I found it. And as you can see, it's got a lot of comments. And guys, almost all of the top-rated comments in that Reddit thread were saying stuff like, you need to lose weight. I'm not joking. Some of them cushioned it a bit more, and they were like, yeah, I think it would look better if you lost weight. And then some of them were very upfront about it, but that was the advice being given in a men's fashion subreddit. Now, look, losing weight sometimes, in fact, a lot of times, it can be helpful with a lot of stuff, up to and including fitting well in clothes. There's no getting around that, sure. But in a fashion advice subreddit, the idea of looking at, okay, there are a lot of issues with this outfit that have nothing to do with the weight of the person wearing it. Also, the idea that you would need to lose weight to look good in a sweater is insane. Of all items of clothing that you would be like, yeah, if you lost weight, that would really... A sweater? He's not even that fat. He's just like a little portly, too. It's not even, look, fashion can get really tough if you're like really obese, because then it's like, oh shit, you need to have everything specially tailored if you want it to fit right. I get that, you know, but like, oh my God, this guy's like, what is this, like a 38 waist, depending on how tall he is? Like, what kind of issue is this, you know? 90% of his issue is posture. The posture is not helping. There are a lot of issues here, and I'm going to talk about them briefly. But I'm more interested in the concept here, I guess. Just show the Derek guy thread whose opinion you're stealing from. Actually, I saw this before Derek guy quote tweeted it. I like to reply to it, and in my dream world, in my mind, in the palace of my imagination, Derek guy only saw this thread, this massive thread, because I liked it, even though Derek guy doesn't follow me. How does that work? I'm not sure, but that is what I choose to believe. It's a matter of faith. You wouldn't take away faith from this birthday boy, would you? On Christmas Day, Christmas Day, December 27th, 2023, you wouldn't take that away from me, would you? No, I thought not. Hold on, where's my like premiere imagined like fat man sweater drip? Hold on. What we do in the shadows, Guillermo. I love Guillermo de la Cruz. What We Do in the Shadows is a hit and miss show, but holy shit, do I love Guillermo. Look, I love him. What a goddamn cinnamon roll. Oh, yeah, he's not wearing a sweater here. There we go. I mean, he's a person, so he changes outfits sometimes. Love his hair. Love his little poof. You know? Guillermo sweep every time, baby. Get that motherfucker the Oscars. Love him. Look at his cute little like velvet vest. Look how cute he is. Okay, yeah, I like him. I like his character, you know. Lovely. Anyway, sorry. So anyway, this guy posted his poor fit to the men's fashion subreddit, and a lot of people were basically just like, yeah, bro, you got to lose weight. Now, even the people who weren't suggesting that he lose weight were giving pretty bad advice, which makes me doubt the viability of this subreddit. You know, a lot of people treat fashion, or in fact any kind of self-improvement from a men's perspective, as this like Sigma grind set, you gotta burn it to earn it kind of, you know, like bullshit. This is one of the reasons why like female friend groups tend to be a lot more supportive than male friend groups, because men, you know the difference, like if you say you have a problem to two people, it's a very guy thing for them to like give you a solution, and a very girl thing to say, oh, that sucks. You know what I mean? I'm generalizing, but there is like research to indicate that those trends differ. And a lot of people think, including myself, by the way, I am fully a gives advice person. So don't, this is not like me saying like, oh, be different or whatever, because I'm not, and I don't care. But what a lot of people fail to understand is that for something like losing weight, oh my goodness, thank you, Benjamin. I'll do donuts in a sec. For a lot of people, losing weight is much less about the solution and more about the emotional stability on their way to getting it done. So how do you lose weight? Losing weight is incredibly easy. Just eat fewer calories than you burn. That's it. It's incredibly simple, and it's the same for everyone. The amount of calories you burn may differ person to person, but this is all pretty easy to math out in your head. It's not complicated. Now, the difficulty in losing weight is not knowing how to do it. Yeah, it's simple, not easy. Knowing how to do it, very easy. Doing it, not easy. What does it take to lose weight? Well, it takes a lot of mental fortitude because you have to deliberately starve yourself. You know, that sounds a bit dramatic, but that is what you're doing. You're eating fewer calories than you're burning, so your body has to burn fat resources in order to survive. That's how it works. So there's going to be discomfort, and that usually means you're going to be uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, you're going to be tempted to quit dieting. And, you know, the best thing you can have in a situation like that, or one of the best things, is a supportive friend group, right? You know, like that could be really helpful, right? So sometimes it's actually more effective to offer support than a solution, especially if the solution is fairly, you know, fairly understandable to, at least when it comes to like grappling it, like conceptually. So you have something like this, right? And people are being incredibly unhelpful. Now, for a fashion subreddit, you shouldn't even be talking about weight. It is true that if you're very fat, it's harder to find clothes. Yes, of course, obviously. And if you want it to fit really well and, you know, like contour to your body in the perfect possible way, you might need to have it tailored. Like, that's true, okay? But like, in terms of this right here, respectfully, this is a pretty poor outfit. And the fact that they weren't centering on that really makes me think that for a lot of people in the men's fashion subreddit, they have a very specific image of what a man is supposed to look like. And if your body doesn't look like the right kind of body, then any clothing you drape on that body will be wrong. And this is a really common mistake that I see people in my chat do as well. Over the past couple of decades, there's been an increasing tendency to make clothing skinnier and skinnier. It's present in everything, from the dress shirts that we wear, to our t-shirts, to our suits, even our suits, like full three-piece suits. Everything that we wear, and by we, I mean men, by the way, I'm talking about men. I don't know as much about women's clothing, but everything that we wear now is more slim fit oriented. Now, there are a few problems with this. First of all, because not everyone has the same body type, even if they're skinny, like even skinny people have different proportions and so on and so forth. That means that creating one standard size of clothing that fits all men at a given like weight or body size or whatever gets increasingly difficult. See, if everything is a boxy fit, if everything's kind of big and drapes on you, it's a lot easier to design a medium shirt that fits everyone like a medium should. Whereas if it's tight, how do you make that work? There's more variables involved. Well, the answer usually is that you use fewer material and you make it stretchy, you know, add in some elastic or whatever. This has the unfortunate consequence of making a lot of clothing fit on you kind of like a green screen suit or like a Filthy Frank suit. And it folds and contours in uncomfortable ways, and it just kind of generally looks like shit. Even if the clothing is like light enough that it doesn't get super sweaty, like there's a reason why if you look, hold on, slim fit t-shirt Alibaba, I say to go immediately to like the lowest common denominator of you know, where you might find something. If you see a lot of clothing advertised for men, you'll often see clothing that looks like this. Now, I want to be really clear here, okay? This is a lie. Do you know why it's a lie? Because the only thing this item of clothing is selling you is the fantasy of being this muscular, and you're not. There are maybe 10 people watching out of the so-and-so thousand right now who have a body like this with this low of body fat. The only thing that's being sold to you right here is the fantasy of being fit. You might notice that for some clothing, like this, it looks quite nice. Well, it doesn't actually, but you can imagine that it looks quite nice because the person wearing it is very skinny. If you have any belly fat whatsoever, this instantly turns into like a sweaty on the underbelly, clingy, bleh, you know. A lot of shirts are fitted like this because people are sold on the image of being super skinny, and they're not. So, you know, it doesn't, it's like, man, this is everywhere, dude. Go into like any department store and see how the polo shirts fit on the mannequins they have around the place. These things fit like goddamn like wet tissue paper. They fit like, does everyone understand what I'm talking about? Look out for them polyester shirts, folks, okay? They skimp, all right? It's not good. It's not good. The reason I'm saying all of this is because there's been an increasing trend towards making clothing really slim, and I think that makes fat people feel worse about themselves. The God's honest truth is that if you go back in time, for basically all of human history, clothing was loose fit because A, you had to do hard work out in the fields or whatever, B, it was cold and you wanted to layer that shit, and you're not layering like 16 layers of like polyester or whatever. You know, you have wool or linen or something. You have like real materials that are hand woven and with looms. And third of all, it allows much easier movement. You know, really tight fitting clothing doesn't allow easy movement. A lot of people think of modern clothing, I think, in like a kind of like delicate, oh, I can't get this like messed with or whatever. And then you take a look at like, hold on, 18th century country clothing. Hopefully that brings me what I'm looking for here. Here. Men's country suits. There we go. That should give me what I'm looking for. Maybe 19th century. I think 19th century would be better. Maybe 20th century so I can get photos? I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that I would get photos that way. I'm very dumb. What am I? Here, wait, hold on. 20th century country tweed. Here we go. This is going to seem kind of dumb and tangential. Here we go. Have something fun to look at. Scotsman kilts. When we look back in the day and we see the way men used to dress, I chose the kilt image because it's funny. But you guys have a pretty good mental image for how men dressed like 100 years ago, right? Oftentimes, especially on the countryside where men would actually do work and like hunt and do sports and stuff, the clothes they wore were a lot thicker, a lot sturdier, and a lot more durable than the ones we wear today. You might notice, however, that they also look really good. Like, you see that, right? Like, it's not like these all look like drapey shit or whatever. They don't look like stupid billowing. They don't look like they're wearing ill-fitting clothing. The clothes were just kind of made a little bit better back then. I'm not being like a return to tradition kind of guy. I'm telling you that clothing companies these days skimp at every possible level, and the consequence of this is that we have lower and lower like standards for the durability, flexibility, and fit of clothing. Everything fits worse than it used to. Seriously, it's not that difficult to go back and look at plenty of examples of guys who look really dope in clothing that nowadays would be considered, like, just the way hunters used to dress, you know? This is a modern recreation photo. This isn't actually like an ancient photo or whatever. I don't think people had this facial hair back then. But like, yeah, the reason this matters is because if you take a look at what an outfit back then would have fit like and would have costed, and compare it to like a modern, expensive, well-fitted outfit or whatever, it seems like in a lot of practical ways it's gotten worse, and also it now fits in a way that kind of discludes fat people. A really great example of this, one last thing I'm going to show before going back to that Twitter post, and I swear to God there's a point coming up here, okay? A great example of this, and I learned this from Derek Guy, so I'm plagiarizing this opinion somewhat, but I agree fully with it, is the place called Suit Supply. Who here has heard of Men's Warehouse, Indochino, or Suit Supply? These are all suit stores, outfits, manufacturers, whatever, that are available at a lower price point than like a fully made custom suit. A fully custom bespoke suit, meaning that it's like measured and tailored for you, is usually $2,000 to $3,000 because it takes an ungodly amount of work to fully custom make a suit. But if you have a suit that is pre-made, that is ready to wear off the rack, you can usually get it still in a high quality for about $600 to $800. If you want to go for low quality materials, you can go cheaper, and like that's fine. Not everyone wants to spend $600 on a suit they're going to wear 2 times. That's okay. But even when talking about clothing that is made with like good materials, like the stuff over at Suit Supply, which often sources its materials from Italian mills, hold on, there's a big issue with Suit Supply. I'm going to ask you guys, can you tell what it is from looking at the models they use to advertise their clothing? Correct. White people. No. Correct. A lot of these suits are meant to appeal to a sort of modern, slim fit aesthetic. You can tell just from the way that it folds that the material is light. The suits don't come down that far. Usually they would come down about like an inch further. They sit lightly on your body. They have a very low fabric weight, meaning the literal like thickness of the fabric is pretty low, which can be fine, but it also means that a lot of these suits are tailored to like, I mean, I'll ask you, how do you think this suit would fit on a person who had a bit of a belly, even if they expanded the suit? Can you see how with the very thin overlap here between the you know, the single-breasted jacket, the way that like the shoulder sits, the way it sits around the waist, it would just kind of like bulge outward a little bit. You know what I mean? It would break the form. The form of the suit kind of relies on you being skinny. And I'm not saying you can't wear it if you're a little bit fatter. They would just make a larger suit for you. That's fine. But you understand the argument I'm trying to make here, right? I'm trying to point out that the way fashion has trended lately has made things harder for fatter guys. Not impossible, but like if you've ever felt insecure in how you fit in modern clothing, it might be because the clothing you're buying is being constructed with those trends in mind. That meaning, if you look towards other eras of clothing, like say, for example, 90s boxy t-shirts, you might be able to find something that fits a little bit better, a little bit more comfortably, and you also look pretty drippy in it. It doesn't have to look ill-fitting. Suits or whatever other item of clothing are not ill-fitting, you know, if they don't like adhere to your body like a green screen suit. You know what I mean? Everyone understands what I'm getting at here, right? A great example of this, in my opinion, would be 1990s era boxy t-shirts. Like this. T-shirts pretty much all used to look like this, by the way. I think this is a really nice t-shirt fit. You might notice that nothing about the way this is being advertised relies on you being super skinny. You could be kind of portly and look really good in a t-shirt fit like this. Boxy doesn't mean it's oversized. The shoulder fits correctly, you know? It's just like, you look at this and you think, oh, the shirt's not meant to like contour to every curve of your body. Yes, these pants are relatively high-waisted, but you can find plenty of examples of boxy t-shirts that fit really well. This guy, for example, clearly in great shape. You can tell just from the way his shoulders roll. This guy's very fit. And you can tell through the shirt, but the shirt doesn't feel the need to be this like skin fit, like painted on, you know, polyester bullshit in order to demonstrate that. Motherfucker looks good, doesn't he? I want my suit tight. You can have a tight suit. I'm not telling you how to dress. What I'm trying to do here, I just noticed that a lot of guys feel like because they're chubby, they can't wear clothing that fits well. And I disagree. And I'm just trying to do a little thing where I talk about, you know, there are other ways and you don't have to feel bad. I know a lot of you guys pretend not to care about how other people see you. And I know you're bullshitting too, because you're not as smart as you think you are. And I know everything that you think, and I'm smarter than you. And I know exactly what you're thinking at all times. And I know that you feel bad sometimes about it. And there are people who are watching who care about how they're perceived, and they do want to look nice, and they're concerned. Like I said, the reason I'm talking about this is because I saw this post on my subreddit. Where's the post? 500 likes. Women, I love clothes shopping, finds 2 pairs of cute jeans, a jacket, 4 tops, spends 100. Men's, what's the point? Men's section's disorganized, only shirts he finds, says do in your mom or something, shoe size stop at 12, buys a Pepsi so people don't think he's stealing. This is too real. And there were people in chat who were like, yeah, and I'm overweight, so I can't feel like I look good in anything. I am just trying to talk to you. This is so bullshit. It really depends on where you shop. If you shop in only like department stores where the women's section is 4 times the size of the men's section and you don't really know what to look for, then it can feel that way. I'm just trying to be uplifting here. That's it. That's it. That's all I'm talking about. So maybe investigate styles of clothing that that look like, that don't rely on you being super like skinny in order for them to look good. That being said, this was never going to look good. This right here is one of those like cheap sweaters they sell you at Macy's suit sections where it's like, yeah, dude, you can look exactly like the men's fashion advice fit model. All you have to do is wear a button up and then over it like a slim sweater and you'll look exactly like all the guys who looked like this before, you know? Like this is like the archetype or whatever. The sweater is ill-fitting in a number of ways. First of all, if you're going to wear a sweater, the sweater should be thick and textured. It shouldn't be this thin crap, because wearing thin material on thin material basically guarantees it's going to look poorly. Like, if you're wearing a thin shirt and then over it, a thin sweater. Of course, the thin sweater is going to contour weirdly. Like, you're basically guaranteeing that with the available textures, you know? Like, if you really want a statement piece, all you have to do, look up fisherman's sweater. You can find a billion examples, like Shetland, you know, whatever. There's a million examples of stuff that look really, really good and will look really good regardless of your body type because it's a sweater. It's a sweater. It's meant to look, it's a sweater. It should fit on you no matter what, comfortably. It's a sweater, you know? High quality sweaters can be a little bit more expensive, but you can find cheaper versions of them. You can go thrifting for, you know, just find some knit sweater. You can find it. You know, it's a nice sweater. You know, you can find it. I believe in you. Looks hot, not gonna lie. Sweaters look nice, you know, and it's not like they all fit like a garbage bag or whatever. They can look pretty good, but the point is that the thicker texture material works with whatever you're wearing underneath. You know, fisherman's sweater over button up. Is that cable knit? Yes, that's a cable knit sweater. Well, fishermen's sweaters in particular tend to have high collars, so they're not over any t-shirts. Cable knit sweater over button up. Men's, women, putting women here. Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, you could go for like a cardigan look. That looks pretty good. Oh, here we go. That looks nice. I don't like that shade of blue, but that's a personal taste thing. I think that looks nice. It's pretty much just a better version of what this guy's going for, it feels. You know? Light pink, blue chinos. Oh, these chinos are too tight, by the way. Big tip. If you're wearing pants and your pockets are flared out like elephant ears, that means that the pants are too tight. You need to go a size up. Or find a different brand. But like, if the pockets are doing this, it means they're too tight. His whole fit is too tight? Yeah, because he's fallen victim to, you know, a set of aesthetic trends that exist almost entirely to make money for fashion companies. That's why. Why are clothes all slim fit these days? It takes less material. That's it, you know? It used to be most suits were made with like 14-ounce wool or whatever. Now you can find suits, the average suit is like 8 or something. It's insane. Like, it's just fashion companies trying to cheap out materials. That's it. That's literally it. That's why they do it. It's nothing to do with like, you know, oh, it's because you're so skinny. People are fatter than ever. Why do you think there's an inverse trend where people are getting fatter, but clothes are getting more thin and slim fitting? Like, how does that make any sense? It's just a cost saving measure, you know? That being said, you can still find relatively cheap clothing that's like thick and well made. You just have to know where to look for it. I think this looks really nice, man. That looks pretty good, in my opinion. You know? Look at this. Wouldn't recommend this one in particular, though. At least, not unless you have money. This is Ralph Lauren, I'm pretty sure. That's pretty good. Okay. I think that's everything that I have to say. I just wanted to say that you don't have to feel bad if you're more portly. It does not prevent you from dressing well. There are plenty of excellent examples of, you know, fat guy fashion, and it doesn't have to be some crazy specific, like, out there thing or whatever. It can literally just be, like, you know which clothes work with your size and shape, and that's totally fine. That is true, Annie. I like this example that Derek guy used, that man was dripped. Oh, yeah. Great example of being dripped out to the nines. Man just knew what he was doing, you know? Nice, big, flared, rounded collar with a cardigan over it. Look at this fit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Perfect example of what tailored pants can do for you, even if you're quite fat, by the way. The way the trousers end at the perfect length right at the top of the shoe. Like oh my God. Incredible. Living his best life. Oh, absolutely. Spear and McKay is, yeah, but they're all online only, so you have to be confident in your measurements, dude. 36. Is Derek guy like a fashion consultant or what exactly? He's a fashion-oriented gay man. The more I look into this stuff, by the way, the more I'm reminded that, like, so much of what prevents men from having fun with clothing is their own ego and their fear of caring about their appearance. And I just want us all to try and to care, you know? It's not even a matter of spending money. It's just a matter of caring about how you look to other people, because it's a way of communicating with others. Keep in mind, it's also not just a money thing. This is a post from Derek Guy that I wanted to highlight. Trump buys his suits from Brioni, and they are almost certainly made from lightweight wool. Look at how his trousers wrinkle, especially as the cloth shifts from his seat to the front of his shoe. This is what people mean by don't hang well. Compare to second picture with heavy fabric. Great example of how heavier fabric and materials can do a lot for you in terms of your appearance. Trump has never looked good in a suit. And like, look at the way these pants fall. And then compare it to this image. Wow, looks pretty good. Just a little bit interesting how every photo of a guy wearing a suit from the 50s or earlier, they look really good. And nowadays they all look like grinning psychopaths wearing like skinny fit suits that crinkle over their bodies. Even for someone like Trump, who is quite fat, look at all the wrinkles at the front of the thigh. Like, what the f. So this isn't even like a rich person versus poor person thing. This is just a matter of like, you know, if you want to give it a shot. There's a reason why ultra-wealthy women tend to dress like shit, because all wealthy people dress like shit. And all the most fashionable girls that you know live in, like, your local, like, poor converted to lofts district, and they thrift shop for stuff, and they look gorgeous every time you see them, and it's just because they care more, you know? Okay, I am done. That's it. Fat kings, try your best. I love you. Nice, Dr. Strange. I'm happy to hear that. That's awesome. Didn't even lose that many viewers during that. That's quite nice. What about disabled kings with backs? Sorry, I just don't know that much about that. Asking again for your shirt material? This is cotton. Just regular cotton. Though, there are a million ways to weave cotton, so. This is just a regular shirt from Banana Republic. Do you know what the best thrift stores would be to shop at? Should I just stick to local places? I mean, every place has their own thrift stores, right? There aren't really, like, chain thrift stores, except for places like Goodwill, and I wouldn't shop there. It's just about looking around. It's not about where you shop. It's about how you shop. It's about developing a process to understand the fit and how it works. Yeah, Ross, Marshalls, and Nordstrom Rack are all not secondhand. They're all like hand-down clothing department stores. So you can usually find good stuff cheaper there.